Welcome, everybody, to another edition of In the Zone. I'm your host, TK. I'll be with you tonight. I'm going to be doing a little bit different kind of podcast tonight. Normally, it's always about something that has to do with what's going on in the league right now. But I kind of noticed that we are now in the no control zone history, now entering into our 8th year, which means we have some history. And I've always been a bit of a history buff, so I thought I'm going to start keeping a little closer tabs on things that are going. So this podcast is going to be about the history of franchises and owners in the no control zone in 8 years. A little bit of a story about the league. Some of you might learn something about the teams that you currently own now that you didn't know about the previous owner, and what they were doing with that franchise. And I'm going to kind of fill you all in on all that stuff here. So we're going to do a little bit of deep dive into the franchises and see just exactly what's happened with that. After 8 years, I'm pretty excited that we actually now have a history. To me, it just seems like yesterday that we were gathering at Al's place for the first ever inaugural no control zone. I still kind of remember how the league started. It was nuts. I was in a league with Renee, and Al had joined the league with Renee as well. And we had kind of been, for the last couple of years around the tower. Of course, we were always talking about our teams and that. And all of a sudden, there was a bunch of interest from a lot of the controllers up in the tower that wanted to start a league. I still remember Al approached me less than a week till the opening puck drop on the season. And he goes, "Hey, Terry," "everybody wants to start a league." And I go, "Oh, that's great. But, we just don't have enough time to do it this year." And they go, "Yeah, but they want it now." And I go, "Well, how are we going to do it?" So if my memory serves me correctly, I think we came up with, I think it was 9 names. Yeah. I believe it was 9. And so once again, I said to Al, "Well, it's not going to make it on 9 players." I said, I'll tell you what, I'll reach out to a couple of civilians and friends of mine that I have and see if maybe they're interested in going into another league. And so I decided to go pressure Renee, because since I was in his league, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, and help it out. But Renee was more than willing to jump in right from the get-go. I didn't even have to twist his rubber arm. Now that I look back at it in hindsight, it was probably the worst thing I ever did. Wait till you see the money lists in about a second here. I'm just kidding, Renee. I couldn't thank you more for coming and being in the league. You've been a big help. You've shown people how it's done in that. You're always fair. And one thing I like about this league, it seems that everybody gets along. We got off to a bit of a rocky start with a few people, but we seem to have gotten everything settled, and everything seems really good in the league as far as I know. At least nobody's complaining to me about anybody anymore and that. So that's just awesome. And then, of course, I went to the man who was my best friend before joining into the military, and I know Keith. He loves any kind of sports and that. So I thought I could count on him. So somehow, some way, we got up to 12 people, and I was going, "Oh, we got 12 people." And I go, "Oh, that's still really light to start a keeper league." I mean, I said, these teams are just going to be powerhouses and stuff like that. And so anyway, it was getting late. It was decision time. We were like 2 or 3 days before puck drop now for the league starting. And we got a 13th team right at the very end there. And I went, "Oh man, if we had another team, we could really possibly get this going. And, in a few years, we could expand to 16, because 16 was my goal if we're going to start a league." And I told Keith that at that time and he said, "You know what?" He goes, "My son's a hockey keener, and he loves watching me do all my pools and that. He's only 14 years old, but if you want him to be the 14th franchise, we'll get him in there. So thanks to Nick joining as a 14-year-old, got our league off and started after. So we started our first season with 14 teams, and it was going pretty good. And we lost a few owners and we gained some new ones, and some good solid owners came into the league. Once again, I reached out into my civilian pool of friends and scooped Dean Mulberg, the winner of the cup this year, and scooped him to take over for team that folded after 1 year and that. And so we started getting some solid teams. So anyway, I don't know what happened to my video there, but it just crapped out on me. Hopefully I cued myself in right by saying solid at the right time. But anyway, I'm back to recording away here. So just a little bit more about the league. So, well, might as well take these off. That's going to look funny in the edit as all of a sudden, beep, glasses pop on my face. So anyway, like I said, our goal was to start a 16 team league, and we didn't quite meet our goal, but it was amazing. If you think about it, we put this league together in 2 to 3 days, which is just nuts to get all that we needed to have to get done and everything. It was crazy. And then we had ambitions to hopefully in a few years expand up to the 16 teams. But as we went along, after about 2.5 years and that, and I liked our league, I was pretty comfortable. And Al comes up to me and says, he goes, well, we're going to expand. And just more out of laziness than anything. I just, well, I kind of like the way things are now. Why don't we just leave it? And we said we were going to expand. We should expand. We should keep our word. We're going to do it. And, all right, here we go again. So Ryan Kelly had a friend, and that's how Beau Hull got into the league in 2017. And none other than Garo Hill-Stosky himself, who always had great times in the tower with Garo. Always good for some laughs for sure. So in 2017, they both joined our league. But let's just see how the whole league is broken down over the 8 years. Unfortunately, we only have 6 cup winners, unless you want to count COVID for their getting the 7th cup there. So still 6 winners in 7 years, and we're now entering into our 8th year. Now let's take a look at everybody and how their franchises broke down. All right, so here it is. I've pretty much laid everything out, and get to see the histories of your teams right here and who owned previously. Hopefully, maybe some guys will learn some stuff they didn't know about their franchises. But I can't think of anywhere better to start than at the top. What would I say? The mold of how you want to run a franchise, the perfect franchise, the Harrison Lakers. 3 cups for these guys. I mean, they started out in the first year with the Chilliwack Chiefs, and Renee brought them a championship, but I guess attendance wasn't good enough in Chilliwack. So Renee decided to move the Chiefs over to Harrison. They became the Harrison Lakers, and they've won 2 cups ever since that time. So Renee is an OG in the league with us here, and he is by quite a margin our money leader with $3,060. Renee has basically made, he's putting back RRSPs for his retirement with the money he's winning from the no control zone. Next up, we got Keith. Keith has had 4 franchises, but he is an OG as well. Started with us in 2014 with, I hated this team, the Who Farted or whatever. I just didn't stand him. Then he went to his classic Macaulay Mustangs, which I've always liked that franchise name. But then, we got into some heated times. And Keith decided to become the Troll Academy. Wouldn't you know it? That would be the year that he'd win the cup too, I believe it was, as the Troll Academy. And now he's back to his original Macaulay Mustangs name, which is classic for Keith. for sure. I like that name. It's a good name. And Keith won $2,423. So he's done pretty well in this league as well. Next up, actually a new guy. We'll talk about the Calgary Oilers, and the only reason is because the previous owner really bumped that franchise up in cash winnings. But even after 1 year, the Calgary Oilers, they grabbed themselves $106. So our current owner right now is Blake Driver, and hopefully we'll have Blake for many years. But this franchise started out as the Fussy Puckers, with the owner being Ryan Driscoll in 2014. And then he moved his franchise over to Courtney and became the Courtney Whalers, where he won his one Croydon Cup. And then he got posted in the military to Oklahoma. So he became the Oklahoma City Barons. And he was a Baron for 2018 and 2019, and then finally left the league. And that is where Blake came in, and now we're currently the Calgary Oilers. I should mention the first, the first 5 cups that were awarded, they were awarded as the Croydon Cup. We thought it was a cool name because Croydon was the first air traffic control that was ever done in Croydon, England. And we thought it was a pretty good play on words for all of us who worked up in the tower and that. So it was the Croydon Cup. And then unfortunately, with the passing of one of our owners, we've renamed it after him now, the Marty Braman Memorial Cup. So is now presented. And our first winner of that trophy was Dean Molberg. So that takes us to the to the Quebec City Outlaws. There's been a lot of names that I really haven't liked in the league, but I think JP is going to gets the trophy for just absolutely not even naming his team in the original year. So I just had to call it Team JP in 2014. He finally I finally got him around to naming the team the next year, where he became the Vancouver Islanders, and he was there from 2015 to 2019. Then he got posted to Quebec and is now known as the Quebec City Outlaws. So JP Fortier, Jean-Philippe is the owner of the Quebec City Outlaws, and he is an OG as well. He's won $925. He's close to breaking the 1,000 mark. So that's pretty impressive in itself. Well done, JP. All right, let's move on to the 14-year-old kid who's now no longer a 14-year-old kid. He's having sex and everything now. It's crazy. Yeah, it's Nick Salter's team. He came into the league as a 14-year-old in 2014, and he started out with the Mucking Faster. Ha. Yeah, no, I didn't want names like that in this league, and I let Nick know the next year. So he moved the franchise to become Moves Like Jagger, which I like a whole lot better. At least it's a good play on the words with good old Yarmer there and that. So his franchise in 2014 of Mucking Faster only lasted 1 year. And he's been Moves Like Jagger ever since. And Nick has done well. He's won $837. So good job there, Nick. All right, let's move on to this year's winners, the Colwood Rangers. A lot of people may have forgot this team, the Lindsay Letdowns, only around for 1 year in 2014. I don't think Andrew was very much into our league. As a matter of fact, if I'm correct, I think Adam Barrell actually drafted his team. So yeah, Andrew Lindsay, he just wasn't very interested. So we went out and grab somebody who I knew would always give his best in a fantasy league, and that's Dean Molberg, and they became the Colwood Rangers, and they've been the Colwood Rangers ever since 2015 with 1 cup win and $732 for Dean. Good job, Dean. All right, so here we are, the oldest franchise in the no control zone, the only team that has existed since 2014. Brewing up some suds, owner Ryan Kelly, and $641 to boot. So Congratulations on your cash and being the longest reigning franchise in no control zone. That's something in itself. All right, so we had another franchise move this year, and man, 2014. I don't know. You know what? I don't. I guess in your guys' defense, I don't think you understood what kind of league we were actually trying to put together. Like how we kind of have serious names because it's kind of a serious league. So I was getting entries in the first year, like Dan's Derpy Danglers. Yeah, that one was sweet. Now, what a stupid name. But then Dan located from Comox over to New Brunswick, and he became the New Brunswick Bears. I much more like this team, so much better. But he was the New Brunswick Bears from 2015 to 2019 season, and is actually to 2020 season. That's wrong. I'll have to correct that. And he's just moving over to the Greenland Highlanders. Or Greenwood. I always want to say Greenland. It's Greenwood Highlanders. So I really like that name. I love the logo, and the team colors are pretty cool as well. Okay, so that brings us to the Flames of Flurry, but they were originally started out with Dustin Francis. Dustin Francis was the Western Kings in 2014. And Dustin won himself $30, I think it was, in the first year there. And then Dustin left the military. He got out and he went back home to Newfoundland, and he just changed franchise names from the Western Kings to the Eastern Kings. But once again, only lasted a year. He was doing his engineer's course in school and that, and it was just too much for him. So he passed from one NCOIC to the next NCOIC, West Thomas, and they became the Flames of Flurry. And they've been the Flames of Flurry since 2016 to present. And Wes has won himself $392. And so basically this franchise in total has won $422 as two owners have taken away cash here. All right, so we had Beau come into the league, and Beau was an expansion team, and he's kind of an expansion OG. So he's the one and only franchise. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. He started out as the Port Elgin Maple Leafs in 2017 and was the Maple Leafs till 2019 when he became the Wolfpack in 2020. And I love that name, and I like the color scheme too. Beau scooped himself up $318 last year with his runner-up finish and had an outstanding season, really put together an outstanding team, made a lot of great trades to get there. Well done, Beau. Then we come down to myself. I've had two franchises. I opened up in 2014 with the Vancouver Islanders. I got so drunk that night at the draft that I have no idea why I named them the Vancouver Islanders, but that's what I did. So 2014, they stayed the Vancouver Islanders, and I realized I'm actually from Courtenay, and I have another team in Renee's league, but they're called the Comox Islanders. So I didn't want two Comox Islanders, so I went with Courtenay Islanders. And they've been the Courtenay Islanders since 2015 to present, and I have won myself a whopping $153. Woo! I am loaded. All right, let's go to Dono. Dono, the East Coast Brewers. He started out and is also an OG with the Penetrators. And they were the Penetrators for 5 years, like 2014 to 2018. But Dono also left the military and got out and went back to the East Coast, where he became an RCMP officer. And so he renamed his franchise to the East Coast Brewers. So Ryan Donovan from 2019, well, basically he's an OG, 2014 till present. And Ryan's won himself $129. All right, the one team that we have with co-owners in the league, the co-owners are Andrew Marsh and Chris Grant, as they're working together with the Sealand Hockey Club. But they started out in the first season in 2014 and 2015 as Big Game Andrew Baisley, Captain Baisley from Moose Jaw had that team, and he won $50. And unfortunately, Andrew and Chris still haven't won any money yet. I've actually got that wrong. It should, I don't know why I have 2015, 2016 in there for Chris. It's just 2017 to present for Sealand is what it should be. I'll have to make that change as well. And of course, can't forget my co-commish, Mr. Alan Gull. He started out as the Vancouver Islander Capitals. And if I remember, he got as drunk as I did that night. So I guess it was a Vancouver thing that night. So he was a Vancouver Islander Island Capitals for 1 year in 2014. Then realized his mistake and saw me and Ryan were in Courtney. And so he went with Comox and became the Comox Capitals. And then he got sucked into TD out in Moose Jaw. And I told him, if you take the TD, you'll never be back. And he hasn't been back since. And now is the Living Skies Capitals. But he too has also gotten out of the military. So he's now a civilian, but also an OG. And Al has brought in $30. 30 big ones. 30 schmackaroos. Yep. All right, we got pitter patter. Can't forget Steve Grant. Steve Grant, we'll get to him in a second here, but before this, it was Marty Brayman, who we've named our trophy after, and the sadness of Marty's passing deaths. Still miss Marty every day, but let's talk about his teams. And once again, here was another loser name. Sedin, 2 girls, no cups. Come on, man. I'm trying to write articles and things here. Those names, how do you get a nickname out of that? So 2014, then Marty got the word. And I told him, yeah, that's a lame name. That's got to go. And so he comes up with Hat-Trick Swayze. I didn't have the heart to tell him that I thought that was pretty much just about as lame as Sedin, 2 girls, no cups. But Marty was a Hat-Trick Swayze from 2015 to 2017. Then this franchise name, I how could I say no to it? Tarps off. I mean, if there is everything that ever symbolized Marty is tarps off. One thing you could be guaranteed if you were to go to a party that Marty is at, you could walk in and see his 8-pack flashing around the girls with no shirt on. So anyway, tarps off only existed for 2018. Unfortunately, Marty never made the 2019 team. That's when we had Steve Grant come in from YMJ, and he formed Pitter Patter, and he's been Pitter Patter since 2019 to present now. And Marty won $30, and Steve's yet to grab some cash yet. Last but not least, we got the Flying Colors, who were an expansion team in 2017. The owner is Garo Hilstuski, Captain Hilstuski, and he's 2017 to present and has yet to win any cash. But he had a really good team going there last year at the end, the 500 team, as I like to call it. So he's got a good building blocks there to possibly do some damage this year. So let's take a look at it overall. So we've had 22 owners, and that is including Chris and Andrew. So basically we've had 21 owners for our 16 teams overall. We still have 9 OG owners left in the league, and both our expansion owners are still OG from their time in 2017. The oldest franchise in the league is Brewing Up Some Suds and Ryan Kelly's team. Most cups, of course, Renee. He's got 3 of them. Most franchise cups, Harrison Lakers with 2. And how many franchises have we had in the no control zone? Well, we've had 41 franchises in the no control zone. All right. So basically, that's a look into the history and franchises, the history of the franchises and the owners in the league. I've now got it on record, so I'm glad to have that. And I'll keep it updated as we go and whatnot. I just want to say I want to even thank all the owners that aren't in the league anymore. Without those people, it wouldn't have kept the league afloat. So every owner that went through here, more than happy to have you. It's great now that we have a more stable group of owners that seem pretty serious about it now. And you guys know what's happening now. And there's no teaching anymore when you get into your 8th year, that's for sure. Solid group of guys. I love you all. I think everybody gets along pretty good. And so I think I'm going to end this podcast at that. Looking forward to the season coming up. Look forward in the future to other different kinds of podcasts as well. I'm going to try to branch out into more kind of podcasts like this about the league. Maybe I'll do a deep dive into some of the playoff series and that. And I'm actually contemplating starting a new podcast this week. This has nothing to do with the league or anything, but I'm thinking of starting a Canadian Islander fan reaction after the Islanders play a game. I'm going to come up and do a recording. I still haven't 100% decided on it yet, but it just might be good practice for me. Hope I'm not taking on too much. It'll be nothing like a Steve Dangle kind of thing where he's going off the roof and that, it's not going to be that kind of one. I might have my nights, but you don't have to tune into those ones. I'm just doing it out of my own, trying to eventually find a platform. What I'm going to hopefully try to do something someday, or if it doesn't work out, I just have fun doing it anyway. So just like making this podcast. And I know I have a small but a loyal group of guys that watch these, and I thank you all very much for it. So anyway, that's my deep dive into the history of franchise and owners with the No Control Zone. Looking forward to a great season. Take care, guys, and peace out.